everybody, to Beyond the Gate, our Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood podcast. I'm Megan.
And I'm Meg.
And today we're talking about episode 45, The Promised Day.
Yes, in this episode, quiet warning spread near and far. The promised day is at hand. While most will face the coming chaos with their own kind, Edward forms a new cabal comprised of human, chimera, and homunculus. Can I just say, whoever is writing, whoever's writing these descriptions in Crunchyroll, they love cabal, which it is a fun word. So.
Honestly, I would like to meet the writers for any of these things, like writers for descriptions or like the people who help with translations for mangas, because they're making all of the jokes land and all of the all the descriptions work out and make sense. So, and this episode covers manga chapter 80, The Prodigal Father Returns, 82, Family by Spirit, and 83, The Promised Day.
Yes. So once again, we pick up where we left off. GreedLing and Bradley are locked in a standstill. And Greed is kind of losing his mind. He shares what he remembers about his friends, and he's like, Bradley, you destroyed my possessions. And then they start fighting, and it was so cool. The choreography was amazing. Because they're both just like OP characters. So
yeah.
Of course the fight's cool. They're both super fast, and like Greed is like doing backflips and like flying through the air. And he's fighting with his like little claw things, and Bradley has his sword. And
I know why you like this scene now, because you once told me that your favorite scenes are fight scenes like hand-to-hand combat and or swords, and this is both, so
yes. I got very excited.
Yeah.
But then Bradley like almost decapitates Greed, but he's able to activate his
ultimate shield.
Yes, thank you. His ultimate shield in time, and then he like jumps out the window and is gone.
Which was the most epic thing ever.
Yes, it was. The whole thing was so cool.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we go to another awesome scene. Olivier is at the Armstrong residence. She's just Olivier. She tells her father to retire and like take a long vacation, and he's like, and like leave everything to me. And he's like, well, Alex, I was gonna appoint my Alex as my heir. And she's like, that coward, don't do it. And then Alex arrives, and he's like, all right, fight your sister to become my successor.
Yes. And funny thing, my family is very competitive, and I know yours is too, Meg. But him saying like, Alex, fight your sister. I was like, oh, I think I'm having a flashback to my childhood, because my dad is like one of the most competitive of us all in an already competitive family. So I feel like there was one point, I can't remember specifics, but there was one point in my childhood where my brother and I both wanted something, and my dad said arm wrestle for it.
Awesome.
Fight.
Oh, I love it. That never happened. Never happened in my family. Violence not encouraged.
Violence is not encouraged against our youngest sister, but between my brother and
yeah, I think it's I fighting probably not encouraged, because my dad is very protective of his daughters. And also I'm like, I got an older brother on one side and then a younger brother on the other side, so it's kind of, not...
Yeah. Well, my dad is very overprotective of all of us, but he still wants us to know how to fight.
Yeah, I like to imagine that if I got into a fight, I could kick butt, but no.
I also grew up with
I'm weak.
I grew up with a lot of guys around, because like my older brother, but then some cousins and like their friends and stuff. So I just I know how to stand my ground and like plant a firm kick where it counts. But I'm just not very argumentative, so people don't expect it from me.
Yeah, I took a different route when fighting my battles. I took the more manipulative and revenge route, which we shall not discuss.
No. But anyway.
Yes. The fight begins. Alex, of course, rips off his shirt. Classic. You know, he wouldn't be in a fight if his shirt was on. That's how we know fight's about to begin.
Yes.
And Olivier draws her sword, and really, we don't really see too much. Like, all we hear is like fighting in the background as the rest of the Armstrong family calmly packs up their things and discusses their trip plans. They decide to leave and go to Shing. And we see this very funny scene, like, as they're leaving, Alex gets like thrown out the door, and then Olivier drags him back, and he's like, no.
That's my favorite scene with the Armstrong siblings. His scream of help me! It's just like the most perfect thing ever.
It's just accurate, honestly. And then we see him. Alex is just getting destroyed. Obviously, we see him be thrown into the fountain, and then into the fireplace. And Olivier has won, and she kicks him out. Then we go to a brief scene. We see May in the mining town of Uswell. She's heading back to Shing. And it's so sweet because, like, all the townspeople are like, hey, we're gonna help you out. We have a bed, food. And she gets, like, so overwhelmed, and it's like, oh,
yeah,
these people care about me.
Yeah, it's really sweet in the anime because we have no idea if she doesn't know these people, and they're just offering to help her. However, in the manga, we know that not only have Ed and Al been to Uswell, but May has already been to Uswell as well. Oh boy. Uswell also, not as well. But she helped them out one time too. And they're friends, they're buddies. So they will put her up for the night and treat her well, of course. But I don't know. It's nice in the manga for like what goes around comes around, but it's also nice in the anime where it's like perfect strangers are willing to help this little girl.
Yeah. I like it both ways.
Yes.
But then, of course, Envy takes advantage. He, at first, this doesn't happen in the anime, but in the manga, he's like, wow, these people are so nice. Like, I think that's like a genuine thought. And so I was like, oh, is he gonna be good? But
well, that's what I thought in the anime, because it was weird because the camera focused on him for a long time. He's in the jar, just staring at these people, and then he looks up as May's tears hit the jar. And he just kind of goes, wow, they sure are nice. And there's no irony or sarcasm in the words. So I had the same thought too, like, is something happening with Envy? Like, he's defeated. He's at his lowest. Maybe there is a possibility for change to happen. But no.
Nope. Instead, he's like, look at these, nice people, and you're gonna bring this half-dead homunculus back to Shing, and the Emperor is not gonna accept it. You can take me back to Central, and, get real power. And
maybe be able to protect these people who are so willing to help you.
Yes. And so she decides to go back to Central, which, I like, because I love her, and I didn't want to see her go away, but also I don't like Envy, and I don't like how he manipulated her. Oh, we get to see Ed and the chimeras again. They are heading to that out of town hideout where Ed and Ling got eaten. And Ed is very convinced that Al is gonna be there. He's like, of course he's gonna be here. This is the only place that he could be. And of course, as we know, he is not there. And the chimeras are like, you're a terrible brother. You don't know anything. And while they're there, they like sense someone, and it's Greed. But it's not Greed. It's Ling, and we know that, and Ed knows that because he's like, I'm hungry.
And it collapses.
Yep. And the next scene, we see him eating all of their rations, and Ed is, trying to talk to him, but, Ling tells him that he gained control because Greed was fighting and, like, separated from the rest of the homunculi and father, and we see him like struggling to maintain control though, and Ed's like, "Stay in there, Greed, don't come out," and he's like hitting him. And Ling's like, "No, please don't, stop it." Sorry. But Ling shares some very important information. That father is planning to open the portal. And Ling thinks that Ed and Al should jump through because he thinks that's how they're going to get their bodies back. But this leads Ed to question, like, how is he going to open the portal? It requires a sacrifice. This is kind of concerning. And Ling really starts to lose control, but right before he does, he asks if Lanfan got his message.
Yes, Mikasa got the message. She got her scarf back.
Yes, Ed assures him that she did.
Sorry,
and
wrong
then
anime.
yeah, come on. Then Greed returns, and he decides to leave them. He's going solo, but Ed offers to team up with him.
Yes, and in the manga, when Greed initially refuses, the Chimeras are afraid of letting GreedLing go in case he spills about Ed's plans and location, but Ed assures them that Greed never lies, and he might also be referring to Ling as well, but you'll remember that line, like Greed specifically has said before, I never lie, and I never fight women. Those are his 2 rules. His code of honor.
Yes, it's what a code. Greed's like, nah, I'm not a follower, I won't follow you. But then he has a brief flashback of his buddies before he leaves, and as he's leaving, Ling is trying to convince him to join Ed.
And in the manga, Ed notes that he'd be the only normal human of the group because GreedLing is a homunculus, and then they've got 2 chimeras, and Ed's just like, huh, wait a second. Am I the only normal one? And honestly, he's not even normal, because he's like, his automale limbs, and
he's got automale limbs, and he's like, I got a soul connection with his brother, and like, yeah.
I mean, not saying artificial limbs make you less human. I'm not saying that at all. I'm more saying about the transmutation and like the human transmutation gone wrong.
Yeah. It's funny. They're all very unique.
Yes.
In their own ways.
In the best ways.
Yes. And as Ling is trying to convince Greed to join Ed comes up to Greed and he's like, I will follow you. And because I will follow you, these chimeras will follow you. And they're like, what? You're not our master. And like starts beating him up. And
Ed's, he's teasing Greed. And he's like, maybe I'll start calling you GreedLing, which I think that's where the fandom got GreedLing from, which I like better.
Yes, I do too. And also, like, maybe it was just like a miss that wasn't translated right, but in the manga he says that he's gonna call him Grin.
Green?
Like,
Green?
Green. Yeah, I guess it'd be green.
Oh, I know why, because in the manga instead of Ling, it's translated as Lin, like Lin. So that's why.
Right. Interesting.
We'd have to get the updated translation. I really want to see if they changed it.
Yeah. And it's so super funny in the manga while they're beating him up. They're calling him names like, don't get a big head, Beansprout, runt, dust speck. And Ed says, what? I'm not small. It's the world that's too big.
I loved that line.
Yeah, it's so great. Anyway, Greed's like, why are you gonna join me? And Ed is like, I can't let my ego get in the way of our goals, basically. And Greed remembers a conversation that he had with Ed, where I think Greed says something to Ed, like, because Ed refuses, or maybe it was Al. Like,
Oh, no, it was, so back with the previous Greed,
yeah.
when he had kidnapped Al, he, during their fight, he called Ed out for being prideful, I think. And he's like, if you keep this up, you're gonna lose your brother and you're gonna lose, like, any information you could have gotten out of me. Like, you're not gonna get anything if you keep acting this way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it was. And so he remembers that conversation with Ed, and he's like, wow, this kid has grown.
Yeah.
And
And I
then,
love in the manga, Ed says, now that I think about it, the moment I decided to become a dog with the military, I gave up any pride I may have had anyway. At this point, it's no big deal for me to sit up and wag my tail.
oh, Ed.
I love him.
And then Greed's like, well, we're gonna have to, hide in the shadows, and we're on the run. And Ed looks at Winry's earrings and realizes that he won't see her and Al for a while. And then the final couple of scenes that we see is the message about the promised day being passed along. So we see the military at Izumi's place looking for her. She's not there. So Al has given a message to Mason about the promised day and when it's going to arrive, and then Mason passes that message on to Sig, who passes on to Izumi. And then Izumi, we see her being awesome. She attacks a north outpost and gets herself arrested. And then she passes on the message to Buccaneer and Miles. And then I think it's Buccaneer that we see in the anime passing on the message to Grumman, but in the manga it's Buccaneer and Fullman that are passing the message on.
Ah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. And then Grumman gives the message to a new person that we have not met. Her name is Rebecca. She's pretty awesome. And she gives the message to Hawkeye. I actually super appreciated the scene because we got to see Hawkeye have another friend who was a woman, and they just spend the day doing shopping and going out to coffee and just doing normal things.
And they have Hayate with them.
Yes, it's great. And can I just say, I love this because it shows that women can be more than one thing. She's not just this super serious, awesome woman of the military, but she also has really close friendships, and she likes to go out and do, I wouldn't necessarily say girly things, but
No, but just everyday things.
Yeah.
She's got her tomboy side for sure,
Yeah.
but she's also got this very sweet,
this feminine side,
feminine, sensitive side. She cleans up nice. She cleans up nice.
Yes, and I just appreciate that we got to see both sides and be like, yes, women could be more than one thing. And obviously this was written by a woman, so she knows. That's all I have to say.
Yes.
So Rebecca gives the message to Hawkeye, and also one other random thing that I was enjoying is Rebecca very much reminds me of myself, because she was like, I just need to meet a nice man and quit my job and get married. That's all the time.
Hawkeye reminds me of me because I would just shove a dog in your face and say, here's a man.
all of the time. I'm just like, I'm gonna quit my PhD and I'm gonna marry a rich man and never work again.
But you say it in jest.
Sure.
Oh my goodness.
No, it's, even for her, she seems like a pretty awesome woman. She wouldn't really do that.
I don't think so. I like how she teases though, and then she was like, oh, say hi to Havoc for me. And she says it teasingly, and also because Riza needs to pass the message on to Havoc, but there's also something about that that's like, huh, I can see
Right?
it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was kind of like, yes.
Havoc's
Anyway,
been looking for a girlfriend, so.
yes, after he had his heart broken by lust.
Ah,
Yeah. Anyway, Hawkeye gives a message to Havoc, in an awesome way. He like gives she gives him a pack of cigarettes, and then like the message is rolled up.
yes.
And then while she's there visiting Havoc, he shares that he's going to be transferred to the hospital in the east. And then she's like, "Say hi to Mustang for me," and she leaves, and we see that Mustang is there hiding. So he got her message, and Havoc passes along her secret message to him, and it says, "Promised day arrives in spring. North and east will move." And after the credits roll, the like final scene is Mustang like burning the message. Yes.
That was so cool, though. He just, like, drops it casually, flicks
Yep.
flames, and it's gone.
It's just like when he burned the message about Pride being
Yeah, but that was in the bathroom, and he
yeah,
could have
not
set off
quite as
smoke
cool.
detectors, and, like,
would it though? Because pretty quick fire. If you think
yeah,
about like
guess.
how much smoke can be created while you're cooking and it'd be fine. Like
Yeah.
it does require because like that would be like lighting a candle, and like
Yeah.
it would be like that first lighting, like it would be that much smoke, I think. So I think it's fine. Anyway.
But anyway, yeah, that's the end of the episode. And since we have a new character, Rebecca, we're going to cover her. So, Rebecca Catalina, she is played by Jamie Marchi, who is Mount Lady from My Hero Academia, Matoka Minagawa from Fruits Basket, and Anka Reinberger from Attack on Titan, who's probably not around anymore.
Okay, we went on a whole
We
we
did.
went on a whole Google thing.
Yeah, she was the one who was like Pixis's right-hand lady, right?
Yes, and
Yeah.
then like we couldn't figure out if she was actually dead or not because it said she was dead, and then it turned out she was like she is dead, and it says both the manga and then the anime she's like just killed off screen.
No,
which is lame, but
it is because she was cool.
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah. Yes.
Animation expertise. Beautiful, fast-paced fight scene between Greed and Bradley, and the perspective changes during the fights were really cool, especially like the fast zoom in and zoom out. Very, very epically done.
Mm-hmm. Yes. All right. What was your favorite line of the episode?
Mine was from Ed. We said, "Give me a break. I've already got a million regrets. What's one more?"
1,000,001.
Yeah. I relate to that line, though. YOLO.
Yep.
Yeah. What was yours, Meg?
Mine came from Olivier. And it was when she was talking to Alex after she defeated him. And she was like, "Get out, loser. You'll stink up my mansion with the stench of your cowardice."
Yeah. You're gonna say that to your brother one day?
Maybe.
Once you get a mansion.
Yes. All right. What did we learn in this episode?
We learned putting aside your ego for the greater good and following your instincts is what's best sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then who pushed the story forward?
Cop-out answer, but everyone, because they were all passing messages, getting involved, and forming alliances. We are totally getting ready for the final battle where everyone comes together.
Yes, which
will take place eventually.
Yes, it will take place eventually, and that's like my favorite part of any story is when everybody comes together. It's like, yes.
But I love it in this one especially because the lead up to it is so drawn out, because things aren't just going to happen like boom when we're done. This is like a big deal. So they're taking the time to like really flesh out what the characters are doing and like how on earth are they going to fight this evil that is so great and powerful.
Yeah.
So, I think it's one of the more well done finales for a series, getting closer and closer to that day.
Yeah, the pacing is very interesting in this show because it's really unlike any other, but It's
Well,
good.
we're
It
Americans.
works.
We like everything like really fast handed to us on a silver platter.
Yes. Yes. All right. One final thing is next week we will not have an episode. We are going to take a break because one of us is going on vacation.
Yeah, one of us is going really far away.
Sorry.
Have fun on Broadway.
Dude, you know, I don't want to make you, I'm going to see Hadestown.
Scream of agony.
Yeah, right.
Oh, tell me who the actors are.
Yes, I will for sure. I wanted to go see Parade because Ben Platt was in it. But it literally ended last weekend, and I was like, no.
But Hadestown, we've always wanted to see.
Right.
At least one of us gets to see it.
You will one day. You will one day.
Well, Anastasia is coming to the university we went to.
I know. So we both can be jealous for each other.
I'm a little more jealous though, because yours is like professional Broadway actors.
All right. So, bye.
Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Thank you for listening. See you next time.
Okay, bye.